The member for Parkdale High Park.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's a pleasure to rise on this bill. I feel like this should be a tabloid headline, but I was a child performer. For every Wednesday when I was in primary school, I went down to CBC and took part in a show that most of us are too young to remember called Time of Your Life. And I was an extra on that show, but I was a dancer. And when I think back to what we actually did, what they actually had us do, no, slight to CBC, big fan of CBC, but I would dance and be in rehearsals for 3 to 6 hours. Think about it, like an 8 or 9-year-old. And there was no tutor. Just missed a day of school every week for a year. Loved every minute of it. Wasn't a problem. Never saw a penny from it. But I had good parents. I'm sure if they'd stuck 15% of it in the bank, it would be worth about $5 today. But still, looking back on what could have happened, one can say very clearly that that's not what children should be put through, very, very clearly. And I have to say that this is a long time coming, as I said to our friends from ACTRA and Canadian Actors Equity, back again to the legislature. And they have been back again because this is part of the status of the artist legislation that Peter Tabuns from Toronto Danforth brought in, and that was before 2007. We're going back to the very beginning of the Liberals being in power here at Queen's Park. Then it was part of the status of legislation in 2007, as you heard the member from Scarborough Agincourt say, and kudos to the member from Hamilton East Stony Creek who's brought it back twice since then. So we are talking about a bill that has been before this Liberal government for 11 years almost. 2 majority governments and 1 minority government. So when I hear from across the aisle, as we've always heard when we've talked about this for those almost 11 years, great support, I have to say, put it into action. Enough talk. Where's the walk? We all know that in a majority government, the opposition gets its say and the government gets its way. We want you to have your way on this. You support it. We want you to pass it. You can do it in a heartbeat. You can do it in a heartbeat. So as it goes to committee, you can bring it back quickly. You can pass it in 3rd reading, and you can make it law. It's entirely up to you. Let me repeat that. It is entirely up to the Liberal government to make this law. And I have to say, certainly today, I know it's going to pass on a voice vote, but certainly today, we miss him. We had Santa Claus up there for a while from Hamilton East Stony Creek. Pardon me? Hamilton Mountain, sorry. So we had Santa Claus sitting behind ACTRA and Canadian Actors Equity. And I can think of no better Christmas present for the children of this province than to pass this legislation into law before Christmas. That's a great Christmas present for children. Because what is this bill actually asking for? It's really just asking for protection for child workers. These are workers. You heard, we heard the member over here from the Progressive Conservative Party talking about the fact that child work is supposed to be illegal. Well, it's not in this instance, and with good reason, because children want to and enjoy working, as I did, in the entertainment industry. But surely, if we have child workers, we have to have child worker protection. Surely, if we have child workers, we have to have child worker protection. Sometimes when we think, well, because it's the entertainment, they're not really workers. Yes, they are. I remember those rehearsals really well. I remember how tired I was at the end of the day of going over and over and over a dance step or 2 or 3 with a line or 2, if I was really lucky that week, on a week-in, week-out show. I remember how exhausted I was at the end of the day. I remember that it was sometimes fun, and I enjoyed it, but it was sometimes work, because little kids, I had a stage mother. Most child actors do have a stage mother or father. She enjoyed it way more most of the time than I did. I have to say that. Because quite frankly, at 8 or 9 years old, you'd rather be playing with your friends. You'd rather be in the playground at a certain point. Then you make friends on set, and it's fun. But it's not always about you. It's not always about you. And certainly, as we heard in the case of Jackie Coogan and Shirley Temple, huge stars, huge child Hollywood stars, who came out of it, all of that work, child labour work, came out of it with nothing to show for it. That is, it should be criminal. It should be criminal. So what we ask here today, and I'm going to repeat it again, we ask it again of a majority government. We've asked it of another majority government. And we ask them for what they are completely capable of delivering. Nothing more, nothing less. We ask them for something very simple and basic, to protect child labourers, child workers in the entertainment field. They say they support it. They've said they've supported it before. But nothing has changed for child workers in the entertainment industry in the province of Ontario in 11 years since they've been in government. And I know, my friends across the aisle, I know that this time it will be different. I know, because you're wonderful people, elected by wonderful people. I know you'll do the right thing. Many of you have children. Many of you have grandchildren. Many of you know children in the entertainment industry. I know, I'm seeing smiles across the aisles. Smiles across the aisles. So I know you're going to do the right thing this time. I know that it's not only going to go through committee, it's going to come back here for third reading, and it's going to pass into law this time. Thank you.
Thank you. I now recognize the member for Hamilton.